Parashat Pekudei Tavshin Pei Dalet. Since it's a complicated subject, the Shechina and the Mishkan and everything, I'm going to give you an overlook of the structure. First, we're going to approach the psukim, for sure, as usual, because everything is inside the psukim, and if we don't see it, we dig in and we're going to find out. And then we're going to approach, because understanding the Shechina is not something palpable, something that people use. So we're going to go through those. The latter, we're going to use it that way. We're going to approach through the tzaddikim, because a tzaddik is someone who's in connection with the Shechina, and Bnei Israel, sometimes they're called tzaddikim, sometimes, other ways. So we have to understand what is the tzaddik and how is he connected to the Shechina. Then we're going to have a real good understanding of what the Shechina is. Then we're going to understand the Mishkan that it says in the pasuk, the two Mishkan, the Mishkan on top and the Mishkan at the bottom. And at that point, we will have a real good understanding of what is the Shechina, how do we access it, in the time of need, in the time of everything, what is we have to do. So, is the Mishkan? Mishkan is gone. This I'll go more on Shabbos and everything with the Torah from the Bris Halevi, the Shlomo Ekavitz, that I'm getting more and more used to his Torah. He can pack a whole shir in 5 lines. Unbelievable, the level. But this I'll see with Hashem on Shabbos. But in the meantime, this is the focus of the shir, and let's go right now into the psukim directly. Oh, shit. Okay. The Parasha starts, I'm going to take the beginning of the Parasha and give you just an overlook at the very end of the Parasha so you understand. Ele Pekudei. These are the commandments. These are the instructions. HaMishkan. We're going to translate simply, HaMishkan, of the Mishkan. Then 2 words come that are difficult to explain. Mishkan ha'edus. The tabernacle, which is not this, this is not the right translation. Shechina means to reside, the residence of the testimony. So, HaMishkan is the Mishkan, means the one we know. If we know it, don't come and explain me which one it is, because there's only one. So, these 2 words need to be explained. Asher Pukad. That was ordered, but you already said the instruction. That was instructed, where was ordered, Why within a few words you're repeating again the commandment? Al pi Moshe. Oh, because is there something that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said that we heard that was not through Moshe when Moshe was alive? Did HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell Aaron to tell us something? Did HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Pinchas HaKohen to go and tell us something? No. While Moshe was alive, it was through Moshe. By Daber Hashem and Moshe Leimor, Daber Bnei Israel, all the time it's the same chain of command. So if you start Ele Pekudei, we already know that it's through Moshe, and we had 3 parashias to check it, in case if someone still had a doubt, from Parashat Teruma, from Parashat Tetzaveh, from Parashat Vayakhel, we know it's Moshe Rabbeinu. There's nothing else. And this language bothered me a lot. It took me a long time to understand the language. Al pi Moshe. What do you want to tell me with the mouth of Moshe Rabbeinu? Because it's not, al pi cannot be translated here on behalf. Asher pakad Moshe. You could have said it directly. That Moshe ordered. Like in Bamidbar, Asher pakad Moshe ve'Aaron. Al pi Hashem. So what is here? Asher Pukad Alpi Moshe. Why is this Alpi? Now, Avodas Halevim, if you want to keep on, but I'm not touching this in the shir. Avodas Halevim, it's going to be the work of the Levim. I'm sorry, it's not the Levim, it's going to be the Kohanim. Gershon Kehasu Merari, they are going to be the one carrying it, folding it, and everything. So, yes, Kohanim come from Shevet Levi, but when we say Levim in the Torah, it means Levim. It doesn't mean Kohanim. So, why it says Avodas Halevim here? And we're not going to see that it's the Levim that put it up, the Mishkan. It's Moshe Rabbeinu that put it up by himself. They tried the Bnei Israel to assemble it. It didn't work. It was falling down every time. They couldn't put it together. That's the first pasuk of the Parasha, and you see already that something is cooking here, and it's not a normal approach of the Parasha to talk to us and to just, tell us, inform us about just one little thing. This is giant what the Torah wants to tell us here. At the end of the Parasha, the last 4 psukim, Vaychas, after Moshe Rabbeinu puts it up, Vaychas E'onon es Oyhel Moed. Oh, till now we called him Mishkan. Then we called him Migdash. Ve'asuli Migdash ve'shachanti besoicham. Oh, now we have a new name. It's called Oyhel Moed, because it's not enough Mishkan, the name Mishkan. It's not enough the name Mikdash. Now we need another name. What? The Torah will never use a letter, anything, unless there is a message there. So now we see the Anan did not cover the Mishkan. It covered the Oyhel Moed. What does this mean? But Kvod Hashem, the glory of Hashem, which is the Shechina, Malei es HaMishkan. In the same sentence, we're going to go at 2 extremes here, two antipodes. One time it's called Oyhel Moed when the Anan is on it, but Kvod Hashem, Malei es HaMishkan. So I'm asking you a question. Who is this Anan? Is the Anan of the Shechina, or this Anan, the exactly like on Matan Torah, that there was a cloud on the mountain, there was Choshech, Anan, Va'arafel, 3 klippos, like the breeze, and inside was the Shechina. Remember, we talked Moshe Rabbeinu was scared when he was called to go up into the cloud on top of the mountain. He was scared because he thought that his level will be affected by the fact that he's going to go through the tumor of the Ola. So is that this Anan that came residing on top of the Oyhel Moed? Does it make sense? On the glory day, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu come with his Kala, the Shechina, to reside among mortals. Is that normal that the day of that Simcha, we're going to have the other side coming and residing on the Makom that the most Kaddish? Doesn't make any sense. But Anan, hey Anan, the Anan that you know, the only one I know is the bad one. Because if he was not that, at the last pasuk here, it says Anan Hashem. So this is a different Anan. Because this Anan is called, you can see it in the punctuation, it's not with the commas. It's called Anan Hashem. It's a Pasach, both of them. Here, it's a commas on both of them. And Bez Hashem, when we're going to learn, hopefully we're going to get the Sfarim very soon. And when we're going to start learning, you're going to see the importance of also paying attention to the digduk, to the punctuation, and the tamim in a word. It's going to give you a little bit of a derech to understand the pasuk. So here we are. Then Moshe Rabbeinu could not come into the Oyhel Moed ki shachan ala ve'anan. because that onan again was residing on it, on the Ohel Moed. And again, it's not enough. He said those same words before. Uchvoid Hashem Malei Es Hamishkan. Two psukim, look at the repetition. Uchvoid, but you just said it. So you could have taken off the whole first pasuk. That's it. There's nothing else that he teaches me the first pasuk. Boom. I didn't need this whole pasuk here. What does he come to tell? And then we're going to change totally subject. We're going to say the anon when he moves, we travel, and so forth. I just want to raise your curiosity here that it makes no sense the way the Parsha starts and the Parsha ends up. I just want to point out something. The Ramban had a tremendous Talmud. And his name was Rabbi Yitzchak de Min Akoy. Very famous, very deep every time he writes something. He explains on the first pasuk, he gives us a little bit of a derech to go understand what happened in the Mishkan, what happened at the time he was put up together. He says, Ha-Mishkan, Mishkan Eidus. We're talking about the first one, Ha-Mishkan with a Hey, is the upper Mishkan. Where is it? Oh, upper, in heaven. Where in heaven? I know me that we have four words. We have Olam HaAsiyah down here. So obviously we had a Mishkan here. We had Olam HaYetzira on top. We have Olam HaBeriya on top of it. And we have Olam HaAtzilus on top of it. Where was the second Mishkan? I don't like, global description. Oh, put in your head, you're in a cloud. It's up there somewhere. Where there? Is it maybe in Olam Haba HaTachtoin, in the lower Olam Haba, in the Olam HaYetzira? Or maybe it's in the Olam Haba HaElyon, in Olam HaBeriya. Or maybe it's together with the Shechina in Olam HaAtzilus. So where is that Mishkan? Because if I don't understand what Moshe copied, I'll never understand the Mishkan down here. And it's called Ha-Mishkan over there. But this one down here, it's called Mishkan Ha'edus. If it's similar, call it Mishkan. But what's Mishkan Ha'edus? And why Moshe, for goodness sake, cannot enter this Mishkan? Let me explain you. Let's go a little bit. We're going to go a bit on a few different psukim. So you definitely can open your microphone if you don't understand something. It's an important share. So that you ask me, because we're going to touch a lot of questions that people ask themselves non-stop and for years. The Midrash says, actually, there's four of them like this, saying that. It's not only one. It's so broad, such a fundamental knowledge to have that in Bereshis Rabbah it's brought down, in Shir Hashirim Rabbah, in Bamidbar Rabbah, in the Tanchuma, in Parasha of Teruma. So mamish almost different in the Zohar. Few times in the Zohar it brings it. So, but I'm gonna take it. I like to take when something is from the Midrash, the broader Tanaim. I like to bring from the broader Midrash. But we're gonna see three different languages on one point. So now we're gonna be on our way to define what is the tzaddik. Because I know in this world, unfortunately, we don't have the Mishkan anymore, and we don't have the Beis HaMikdash neither, but we have the Shechina. And since we have the Shechina, the only one that connect to the Shechina and are basically the messengers of the Shechina are the tzaddikim in this world. I need to know what a tzaddik is made of, his definition, and his connection to the Shechina. So once I understand these components, we can basically gradually mark a road and say, look, I'm going to start going on that road. If I jump in one day, you'll be off the cliff in one day. If you build it up and you strengthen every time you build, it's like a building. You can't build a paper building in one day and have the last floor built on all this. You have to build first the foundation, let them dry. Once they're dry, you create, you build the first floor and the second floor, but the pillars of the first floor have to be strong enough to carry everything else. The second floor has to be a little bit less strong because it carries one less floor, and so forth. So you have to be smart how you approach this road. The Midrash said, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the Shechina down in our world. And because of the Chet of Adam, the Shechina left this world and went to the first Rakia, to the first skies. There are 7. When came the Dor HaMabul, they pushed it off. No, it's not Dor HaMabul, it's the 4th. So let me see in the Midrash. Then Cain killed his brother. He pushed the Shechina one more sky, went to the second. Then Dor Enosh, they started doing Avodah Zarah, went up to the 3rd sky. Then the Dor HaMabul, 4th sky. Then Sedoim, 5th sky. Then Dor HaFlaga, and the Mitzrayim in Dor HaFlaga 5th, Sedoim 6th. The Mitzrayim at the time of Avram with the Kishuf, 7th. The Shechina, once you reach the 7th, it's back where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in the Atzilus. No more connection to this world. This world is in full darkness. Came 7 tzaddikim, and each one brought it down one level. Avram to the 6th, Yitzchak to the 5th, Yaakov to the 4th, then Levi to the 7 tzaddikim, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Levi, his son. Who was the grandfather? Amram and Moshe. I'm missing one. Kehas, Amram, and Moshe. Each one brought it down. Moshe Rabbeinu being the one who took it from the last guy and brought it down here. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu is called everywhere in the Lashon of Chazal the husband of the Shechina. Sorry,
is it possible just to repeat this? Is it possible to repeat the 7 level? I'm in the middle of the 5th one.
Okay, so the 7 tzaddikim are Avraham. So you know that gradually we go backwards. So from 7 to 6, Yitzchak from 6 to 5th, Yaakov from 5th to 4th, Levi from 4th to 3rd, Kehas from 3rd to 2nd, Amram from 2nd to 1st, Moshe Rabbeinu from 1st to earth. This is what happened. So,
thank you.
You're welcome. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu is considered the husband of the Shechina. He could exactly, sometimes the Zohar, the Midrash say, the same way a husband can order in his house, Moshe Rabbeinu could order to the Shechina. It's very deep. All the Midrashim and the Zohar are going to bring one pasuk. So let's look at it because it's a pasuk. This one, you're not very familiar, but you're going to be familiar with the next one. tzaddikim. So on these tzaddikim, it says, so the Midrash concludes, so the Zohar, tzaddikim yirshu aretz. Very interesting. Everyone concludes with that passage. The tzaddikim will inherit the land. Veishkenu la'ad alei. And they will reside for eternity on it. Again, you need to remember this. Tzaddikim yirshu aretz. The tzaddikim will inherit the land. Veishkenu la'ad alei. There's no one midrash that does not say that. That brings that possible. The midrash is asking the question right away. Tzaddikim yirshu aretz. Tzaddikim will inherit the land. So where are the Rishaim going to live? In the air? They're going to fly in the air. They cannot reside on land. So the midrash here says no. But you know what? They have a deficiency that they didn't help the Shechina to anchor itself on land. That's all. However, in Shir Hashirim Rabbah, on the pasuk Basi Legani, when the Shechina says, "I came to my orchard, to my garden," it says, "Where leginuni," means in my original place. And he learns, I don't need to repeat you the whole thing because he says exactly the same language as the previous midrash about sending up the Shechina and lowering down the Shechina. However, we have an interesting machloikes here. We have a disagreement. He's asking the same question. Tzaddikim yirshu aretz, the tzaddikim will inherit the land. So where are the Rishaim going to be? He says, Perchim ba'avir. He doesn't say, ask as a question, but this is an assessment. Yes, they will not live on earth. Why? Because they didn't help the Shechina. Who can live on earth? Only a person who has helped the Shechina. Wow. Do you see tzaddikim? You in the air? Someone saw people flying or some people in the air. Actually, it's just the opposite. Who is inheriting the land? Who's making the money? Who is the big guy in the show? Who is the guy that has landmarks and everything? It's the Rasha, never the tzaddik. Secondly, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has put a limit to the life. 120 years after the Mabul. How do you tell me? So pasuk tzaddikim yirshu aretz. No. Rishaim yirshu aretz. It's the Rishaim. In what our eyes see, it's the Rishaim. Veishkenu la'ad aleya, and they will live forever on it. Oh. They have a miserable life. You probably can't even call it a life, the tzaddikim. And they're obviously not the landlords. It's the Rishaim. So what is the meaning in this pasuk being repeated over and over again by all the Tanaim HaKadoshim? It's not normal that so many Tanaim point you to that pasuk and say, you want to understand the side of the Shechina, you better understand that pasuk. Because if you don't understand that pasuk, yes, we know that it clashes with our logic. So obviously we're learning the wrong way, and there must be a different way to learn this pasuk, and we have to dig it up. But before I go into the pasuk, I told you there's another midrash in Bamidbar Rabbah who's going to have a third way. He's neither going to answer, he's going to ask the question, but neither assert that the Rishaim will fly. He's going to say, so he's asking the question, so where are the Rishaim going to be if the tzaddikim only can inherit the land? He leaves the question. Very weird. So we have 3 levels now. Obviously, you don't tell us what's in your mind. The Tanaim in Bamidbar there, they don't tell us what's in their mind, how to learn it. You ask the question. So please help us understand the puzzle. Give us an answer. At least the others, they gave us an answer, even though we have a disagreement on the explanation of the puzzle, but at least they gave us, each one gave us their ways. But you ask the question and you just walk away from it. But he adds a few words at the end of explanation. Vayecha se'anan es oyhel moyed ukvoid Hashem male es Mishkan. The pasuk that we have seen at the end of the parasha, where we started asking questions, this pasuk, Vayecha se'anan es oyhel moyed ukvoid Hashem male es Mishkan. Do you see any relationship between this pasuk and trying to explain the pasuk we had before, Tzadikim Yirshu Aretz Veishkinu Lo'ad Aleya? Ends up like this without any explanation. When this happens, you know that something big is cooking here. And it's a tremendous side. And because it's so tremendous and so accessible, that's why they had to hide it under so many layers. However, we asked on the 3 shatim that we don't understand. This whole pasuk doesn't make sense because our eyes see. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu tests in this world. And because I mentioned this, and because I know there are some people being tested among our group, and we daven for them, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'schutz this Torah, and because we know that the Shechina Akdosha and the Pamalia Shamala comes hearing Soid when Bnei Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes a tremendous shvach when he hears his children talking about him and the godless of the Torah and the side of the Torah. So we open our mouth to daven for them, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should not test them. But you have to understand one thing. The test, first of all, is a nisayon. The nisayon, we explained this many times. Why is a tzaddik tested? Only to point him in a certain direction. The nisayon is like this rider on the donkey that pull the rein on the donkey on one side, but the donkey is not like a horse. He's a tough-headed. He doesn't want to listen. So he has to hit him to make sure I said go left or go right. Why don't you listen? No, the donkey goes straight. So he gets hit, and the horse understands right away and he moves. That's a tremendous difference. We have to become flexible again. We are not I. We are not me. We are nothing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you said, I go left. I understand the message. I will go left. I will go to right. Be like the horse, flexible, gentle. Don't try. Only when you say I and everything, then you want to have your own mind. You want to decide. This is a time for test. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants the tzaddik to move away from his avoinos and leave everything in this world and take only his mitzvahs with him. So he goes very clean. On the other hand, for the Rasha that we see successful in this world, you have to understand that it's exactly the opposite of the logic, because he's getting pay of his mitzvahs, because all his mitzvahs are about him. Get covered. It's not kavod Hashem. It's kavod I. And therefore, all his mitzvahs are being paid. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to give him success, wealth, everything. Because when he goes up there, he has no mitzvah. Nothing. Hopefully I'll be able to touch this Indian had to connect with the Shechina through the machshava, and everything, which is, a lot of people do it, and some people in this year send them, the spoken Eretz Yisrael, Anyway, let's move on. So we see HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have to understand, Chaz v'Sham, the Akol test, I've been tested also to the core and to the breaking core. And people who know me know that. And to a point, we only can open our mouth to Hashem. Hashem, I understand it's an Isayan. I do not understand the message. I'm not afraid to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu me. I do not understand the message. But if you let me know where do you want me to veer, I will do it. But not knowing, I cannot move. And it's not fair. So I need to understand, what do you want from me so I can do it? Usually things happen and it becomes very clear, and then a Nisayan stops right away. The Nisayan, the purpose of the Nisayan, it's only to make you veer on a road. The road is changing, my son. Hashem says, please, there's a cliff straight ahead. You need to veer a little bit this way because the road is and we have to believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees the road in front of us. But now, I would like to ask a question, again, on all these midrashim, and I said the Zohar say the same thing, a bomb from a different pasuk. From a pasuk in Yeshaya that we say every Shabbos, and those who say the Ketores at the end of davening, we say it. I would like to do it in the words with you because it's a very important pasuk, and now we're gonna start going into the Inyan. It says, so we saw on the previous pasuk, tzadikim yershu haaretz, only tzadikim will inherit the land, v'yishkenu la'ad aleya, and they will reside on it forever. And we said that's not what our eyes see, but bigger than all this. This pasuk in Yeshaya, ve'amech kulam tzadikim. Don't you tell me here only the tzadikim will inherit the land? Le'olam yirshu aretz. Forever they will inherit the land. So it's not selective. There's no Reshaim, according to this pasuk in Yeshaya, there's no Reshaim in Bnei Israel. They're all tzadikim. If they're all tzaddikim, they're all gonna inherit the land. So what is this pasuk here? So really now, we blew off, basically every midrash. There's nothing left from all the pshatim. Even the pasuk they brought, come on. But it's not shaykh that we have a stira. We can have a disagreement between Tanaim, but psukim, never. What is the pshat in all this? Now we arrived, we did the first phase. We basically laid out the problem, understanding the path to the Shechina. We know it's tzaddik. You're going to ask me why tzaddik? I'll tell you why tzaddik. Because the Zohar HaKadosh says on a tzaddik that he will not have Gehinnom, he will not suffer the Shibud Malchuyos, meaning he will not be enslaved by the other nation. He will be like he's not in this world. They cannot overpower him. They cannot overpower the tzaddik. He doesn't feel the pressure of everybody. He doesn't know. You have those guys that listen to the news and say, oh, this guy Biden said, and like it's our problem. We have to be remote from all this, like being remote from the past. It's the sheker, the oilam sheker. We have no business there. Yeah, sure. We're aware of the news. We should be aware. In my Rosh Hashiva before Shachis, Rebbe Gubi Tatzad used to listen at 8 a.m. every day to the BBC, to the news. Every day. Can't be, living with like an ostrich with the head under the ground. Doesn't work that way. However, you have to know in your mind very clearly that's what's happened down below, and you want to be able to help and anticipate to help Yidden with what you hear. That's all. Those who live down there. But a person should do every effort not to be down, not to be dry. And if you take the word tzaddik, it's 204, right? Plus 1, which is the keser, because he connects himself with the kelo, 205. 205, take me Bavel, Madai, Yovan, Edom. I repeat, Bavel, Madai, Yovan, Edom equals 205. The tzaddik cannot be subjugated by the nations. He's above. How does he work? What is this magic in here? You know, there is definitely something here that we need to understand that now, if you take 1 second, 205, it's also skila, lapidation. Someone who's under the nations is like being put to death by lapidation. You don't, the Torah doesn't tell you to be a tzaddik because, oh, it's great. No, it's a must. You want to be away from all these, the troublemakers. You want to be away from the chitzonim. You want to be away from the tumah, to closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the sun. The Sefer Yetzirah says, at the two, Sefer Yetzirah is get used to it. It's the Sefer of Avraham Avinu that he wrote. He was scared that his nation will lose Torah, so he condensed in a Sefer and a few prakim, he condensed like Mishnayos, tremendous knowledge. It says, at the extreme right of the world, there's nothing further than this, is Oineg. Oineg in English, not joy, but like Oineg Shabbos, the bliss, a bliss. At the end, on the left side of the world, at the extreme north of the world, there's no point further than this. It's called Nega. Nega tzaras, an affliction. Now, pay attention. At the end of the day, Oineg and Nega are the same letters. It's just a matter how the order you put them in. Who puts them in? You. A person is in a tzara. Not tzara is tzaddik resh hey. This is a word from the Baal Shem. So tzaddik resh hey says the Baal Shem. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent the request of that person, that tefillas, whatever he requested from him, he sent it with the letters Resh Tzadik Hey, Retzei. It's accepted. Here it is, my son. Retzei Hashem, when we say in Shechina Esrei, Retzei. But because when he came down through the worlds, he came down through the underworld, which is ours, and the Chitzonim said, no. The Midas Adin says, no. His action don't allow this. They turn it around and he became a tzara. Says the Baal Shem, that's why when a person says Retzei in Shechina Esrei, he should have in mind that all the tzaras that he has, you not get rid of the letters of everything. No, change the order of the letters. When a person has an affliction, he should focus on changing the order, not run away from the letters. The letters of the Torah are always holy. In there is a light, but they're in the wrong order. So from Nega, you can go within an instant knowing these things from the northern antipode to the southern antipode. That's what you can do. Now you understand why it's not a good thing, it's not only a good thing to be a tzaddik, but it's the only path. Tzaddik is the path to success. Now, do 2 times tzaddik. So if we take it at 205, 410, it's Mishkan. Oh, ve'asuli migdash ve'shochanti besoicham. They should make me a migdash, one migdash, but I will reside amongst them. Say the Zohar, says the Midrash, among each one. The migdash is in our heart. This is the true migdash. And we have 2 sides in the heart, the right and the left. Can get Yetzer HaTov and Yetzer Hara, and both have to be tzaddik. And then it becomes a Mishkan for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to reside inside us. So obviously, if the Or of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is inside the person, never a tzara, never a word can come in the wrong order. But we see, with little things that already we're having a direction, we're having a light here, and we already having a path, but we don't understand what is the tzaddik. First, let's understand, the pasuk that we brought, ve'amech kulam tzaddikim. How can all Bnei Israel be tzaddikim and there's no reshaim? We know we have reshaim. So how can the Navi, Yeshaya Navi, make a statement like this? Ve'amech kulam tzaddikim. It's sheker. Would the Navi say sheker and still have a nevuah, be able to access the midah of hoid there in order to have the nevuah? It's impossible. So the Zohar asked that question. And he says, how is it possible to say ve'amech kulam tzaddikim when we know there are reshaim among Bnei Israel? Says the Zohar, a fundamental yesod which is tremendous, that people should understand what they're made of and what they have and what they can reach. Listen well. Whatever a person does around, it's not taken into account. When a person takes his son of 8 years old and brings him, as that's the lashon of the Zohar, as a korban to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to be cut, to have the milah, like a korban that's cut, it's called a korban l'Hashem. And he does it with a full heart to bring his son under the wings of the Shechina. He is called a tzaddik. Wow. So I'd like to understand the person who brought his son to the bris also had a bris, that his father brought him to the bris. So what do you gain by this? If the bris milah is what defines, mostly to the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, between a tzaddik and a rasha, I need to understand, so the elevation here, what is the bris doing, and what does bringing your own son to the bris do? Besides, the Zohar says Yosef HaTzadik was called Tzadik. Why? We learned this because he overcame the Nisayan of Eshes Potiphar. So you see that the Zohar in Parshas, it's in Parshas Miketz, contradicts this Zohar. Why? Because Yosef regained the title of Tzadik, not because he was brought or he brought his children to Bris Milah, because then everybody should be Tzadik. Only because he overcame an Isayan with the Kedusha of Bnei Israel. She wanted to be metamehim. He overcame the portions, and because of this, he is always called Yosef HaTzadik. So that contradicts our Zohar. So obviously we see every time we move a little bit, we don't have much room to understand. It's every time we have a new stumble block and a new stumble block to try to understand. But we're coming now mostly to the light with all this. There in Parashat Vayetze, and I'm going back to Bereshis before. At the birth of, when Rachel gave birth to Yosef and Binyamin, the Zohar said, at that point the Shechina could reside between these two tzaddikim. Yosef is a tzaddik, Binyamin is a tzaddik, like he got in his bracha, ben kesefar shachen, between his shoulders, the Shechina resides, and they're both called tzaddikim. Why is Yosef called a tzaddik? Because the Zohar said he overcame the Nisayan. So what did he reach? He reached the midah of the Yesod. There's a Malchus, there's the Yesod, Kucha Berichu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the Shechina. And Binyamin, why is he called a tzaddik? Because he's called a tzaddik because he never sinned in his life. And therefore, the Zohar says he reached the Malchus. Whoa. Here, this is our opening. The tzaddik that never sins reaches only the level of, remember, we have the 10 spheres, but each one of these 10 has 10 individual spheres. So Binyamin, not sinning, reached the Yesod of the Malchus. Yosef, overcoming a very direct Nisayan in that Parsha, in that Inyan, reached the level, the Yesod of the Yesod of HaKadosh Baruch. Yosef, Binyamin. In the middle, Malchus. What's in the Yesod? Which name of Hashem? We all know. Is Shalom. Yud time He, He time Yud, Vav time He, He time Vav, Vav time He, and so forth. And he becomes 376. Tzaddik, when a person is tzaddik and reaches the midah of Shalom, which is the Yesod, together is 580. 580, first of all, is the midah when we put tefillin. Tefillin is 580. Woman, when she covers her hair, seah is 580. 580 is the Sam plus the Lily, 580. When they get together like this, it's 580. So we cancel them with those mitzvahs. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us mitzvahs in order to be able to navigate in this world. The mitzvahs are not to say, I'm trying to praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu in my tefillah, but there's nothing for me. No, you don't understand. The whole tefillah is for you. The whole Indian, when you say Amen with the tefillin, the resonance that he has, it resonates in all the world, and it prevents those to bother you, so you don't have to work as hard, you don't have to do so much, and you have a better life. But just to go back to the Zohar before that said that the tzaddik is not going to Gehinnom. Gehinnom is gates al Maves, the gate, the valley of death. Sel Maves, the shadow of death, is the Gehinnom. Tzadik Shalom equals gates al Maves, 580. Who's in 580? The Sam and the Lily. This is who is responsible there. This is who is in charge. How do I prevent that from, so on every day we have to wear out tefillin, us the men. And this is to prevent those powers to try to grab us or do anything with them. Now, I understand where we have to reach, but we still, have to classify. Now, when a person does the bris, he's like Binyamin in the Yesod of the Malchus. Now he belongs, he's a son of the Malchus. He is a son of the Shechina. When you bring your son willingly and happily for the bris, you can reach at that point the Yesod of Yosef, exactly the Midah of Yosef in a different way, because everyone, but at least to be up there. Look, with one mitzvah. At that point, when you bring it that way, you can be called a tzaddik. You can gain. But to be called a tzaddik, man, what happened to all the sins I've done till yesterday or till this morning, That's why Eliyahu Hanavi comes and is mechaper in a bris. Because he said in the Gemara, how can I come? HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you have to go to every bris. I said, how can I go? I'm a avenger. If I see someone that has sin on him, I'll kill him. And if it's the father or the mother, so I'm going to turn the simcha into a mourning. It's not fair. So as Hashem said, because of you, when you go to a bris, I'll be mechaper, the bala bris and the mother and everything. So you understand here the fineness of the path that we have. When we bring a son, you're a different human being. If people would know that this happens to them, I guarantee you they would not go back to re-sin the way they would. At that point, part of the bad would get off them. Okay, everybody would fall, but less, not as much. But people don't realize exactly the way the Arya Kodesh said, if Bnei Yisrael would know the Madrega that they have reached on Motzei Yom Kippur, they would never sin again. It's because we don't know and we give up. Because of the length of this galus and the hardship of that galus on Shabbos, I'm going to speak a bit more on it, which is the harder. Till all the galuyas beforehand, we were in one nation. In here, we are into the 70. We are spread out into the 70 nations. We are under all the 70 of them of these sarim, of these upper ministers. They combine together against Bnei Yisrael. How can we fight? That's why it's easier to be a tzaddik in that generation. So the Chida now understand. Okay, a person has a priest. All he has to do is keep his kedusha of the bris. He is in the Malchus. Malchus, who is the Malchus? The Shechina. Now, if he wants to be more than the Shechina, like the husband, like on a higher level connected, is when he brings his son, he reaches that level, it's up to him to keep it. The Chida says, on the pasuk that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, you will have to build the Mishkan like I'm showing you today. So, kechol asher ani mar'e oischa. You have to do in every way as I'm showing you. Eis tavnis hamishkan. Tavnis, it comes from the word binyan, the structure. But it doesn't make justice, this word structure, to explain the Mishkan. Why does it make justice? Because we're not talking only about the frame. We're talking about every detail of it, including all the kelim of the Mizbeah, of the Mishkan. So now you understand. I'm going to use the word structure, but it's not only structure on the outside, it's structure also on the inside. What do you have in the upper Mishkan? What's the main criteria you have in the upper Mishkan that stands out? The Shechina resides there. And the Shechina doesn't hide. The Shechina is openly there, sitting there. So how is Moshe Rabbeinu supposed to do down here a Mishkan that is, or how can you copy that feature of the Mishkan? You copy the Aaron? Fine. You copy the Mizbeach? Fine. You copy the Kodesh HaKodashim, the side, the location, so it should be on the other one? Fine. But the Shechina, how do you copy them? If you realize HaKadosh Baruch Hu required from us, when he talks to Moshe Rabbeinu, he told him about the Mishkan. But when we talk to us, he says, they asuli, and they will do for me. Did he say Mishkan there? No, he didn't say Mishkan, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says Mikdash. Why do you change? Now we had Mishkan, Eidus, HaMishkan, Ohel Moed. Now we have the Mikdash. It's the same thing also. Mikdash equals 444 equals Gilui Shechina. The revelation of the Shechina does not depend on the Mikdash, but depends on us. What a revelation. But it's very simple. The spirit of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is Kvod Hashem, which is the Shechina, is in full exhibit in the upper Mishkan. How does this happen in the lower Mishkan? With the Bnei Israel. How? I'm going to explain, but you're already understanding. Now you're going to connect it backward to the tzaddik, and now you're going to start understanding, you go up the ladder, but you can go down the same ladder and understand every step of it so you can reach the Shechina, and you see it's not out of reach. What it says in the Pasuk, when the Midrash in Parashat Israel said that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed his spirit, is Kavod Hashem, the Shechina came with 232,000 camps of Malachim, which are the camp Rechev Eloikim Riboisai. The Rechev, the Merkava of the Shechina is 232,000, like Rechev, Resh Chav Beis. Resh Chav Beis is 222. If you multiply it by 2, it's 444. It's a Mikdash. How do I do that? I know the Merkava. I understand I need 2 Merkava. Why? Because there's a Shechina Ilah, the upper Shechina, and there's a Shechina Tasa, the lower Shechina. I'll explain a little bit if I have time, because I see time is running out right now. And I just need to explain that point, because we're going to see that it's extremely accessible. It's actually right there next to every Jew. It's not like, upper in the skies in everywhere. No, next to you. When you talk, like to a friend, you can talk to the Shechina next to you. The Shechina stands right there. It says in the Pasuk to Moshe Rabbeinu, the main thing, the main feature of the Mishkan is Vehaya HaMishkan Echad, unified. It has to be one. Yeah, it's, I love this subject, but Hashem Echad, Shema Echad, and Mishkan Echad. You know what? Let's stay grounded and let's understand at our pace. What made what unified the Mishkan is the center pole that was turning all around. What was the center pole? The Zohar goes ballistic on the Beria Chaticha. The center pole that, even though there was angles, he was turning with the miracle. By miracle, was turning all the angle. It was basically taking the whole Mishkan. How does he pass the doors? It's another share. This Beria Chaticha was a miracle, and what it was. But this is what made the Mishkan one, because it's only one pole and unified all the different Prussian, in English, poles, all the different individual poles. So the one standing, and he went through them and unified it. And he was unifying min hakatse el hakatse. Whenever you hear those terms in the Torah, you know something is hiding behind them. What do you mean from one end to the other end? He was unifying the Mishkan. Understand what it means unifying. You don't have to tell me. But min hakatse, from one extreme to the other extreme, it reminds me what the Sefer Yetzirah said. Nega, and oineg. The vote of the Baal Shem. Sarah retzei. And there's many words like this that we learn. La'asois oisam the mitzvahs. MS. Hashem request. Why didn't say la'asoisam we saw last week? Because of the MS. If you take this strange language, Mavriach minakatse elakatse, meaning was going through from one end to the other end, equals 771. Moshe Mashiach ben David. With the Mishkan, it could have been the end. When the Shechina is here, it's the end. The Shechina is the seventh midah from below, from Chesed. That's why we call it Shemitah, right? We spoke last year in Parshas Kisavoi and Parshas Re'ei about the Shemitah and so forth. Shemitah is the seventh year, it's the Malchus. Shabbos is the seventh day, it's the Malchus. Always the seventh is the Malchus. Once you brought down the Malchus here, once you brought down the Shechina here, through Oineg Shabbos. Now you understand why we said last week Oineg Shabbos was so important? Because you pushing toward the south and where the Geula is, that's the extreme end. This is the bliss of Shabbos. After that, Olam Haba. Now here, what do we have before us? We have Moshe Mashiach ben David. It could have been the Geula directly. Why? Now you understand what all the Midrashim are saying, that when they're created, the Mishkan was to create a new creation of the world. The world was created with 10 Ma'amaris, 10 Vayomer of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says in the Pasuk Vayomer, including Bereshis. The Mishkan was created also 10 things against them. The Midrash names them all out, especially in Parashat Teruma, in Midrash Tanchuma. in Teruma. So, Simon base, I think it is. Torah was given with 10 dibros. They messed up after with the ego. Comes 10 commandments about the Mishkan to nullify the ego. Another chance. A new when we received the Torah, we were before, like before the Chet of Adam Rishon. Now the Mishkan gives us this opportunity. Why? Because we see everything depends in the Shechina. If I don't have light, Hashem, in my life, it means the Shechina doesn't shine. Because every individual has the Shechina. The proof to this, it's not only Moshe, Mashiach, Ben David to show you that the Geula is here. Malchus, Yud Ke Vav Ke, I'm going to show it to you if I have a minute after that to write it. Aleph Dalet Nun Yud heights red and in full equals exactly 771. And if you take the Haya HaMishkan Echad, it's 455. The name of the Bina. I don't want to stay, we speak a lot about this already, meaning the power of the Bina, which is Olam HaCherus. The world, Bina carries tremendous sgulas. The sgula to be mechaper, it's tshuva. That's why Yom Kippur is there. It's mechaper everything. When the Bina shines, Mitzrayim stopped. When the Bina will shine again, the Mashiach will reveal himself in this world, and the world we won't be able to have any power over us. And this is when we created that Mishkan in our hearts. We have Gilui Shechina. Once a person has the Shechina with him, how does he know? We said it. Unfortunately, I feel Tzara, I feel this, it means it doesn't shine. Because the three names of the Bina, the Kehye, you can look in your pages there, Kehye with Yud, Kehye with the Aleph, and Kehye with the Hey, altogether equals 455. When you make the Mishkan one in your heart, which is this Mikdash, which is this Tzaddik and Tzaddik, your Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Atov, you took them together and both want to serve Hashem fully, you have access to the Shechina. Is it easy? No, but we saw that it's gradual, and we saw that how many opportunities HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving to us. You know, by simply bringing a sun to a breeze. Oyhel Moyed equals 156. Yosef. Once you just create, you on the path. I don't want to tell you the soid of the word Oyhel. The Parasha starts with Eile. It's the same letters as Oyhel, just in a different order. What do we learn from here? Yosef, Binyamin, and the Shechina say, hey, listen, I don't have time now to go back on. I thought I would be able to explain this now, but I do not have the time. But you see that once you go on that path and you are willing, all the work is in your heart. In your heart is your nefesh. And these are the two things, the external part of the heart and the internal part of the heart. That's another way to look at it. The Yetzer Hara is on the outside, the Yetzer Atov is on the inside. Another way to look at it. And now you want to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with this. You want to be on the mission to go and elevate yourself at that point. You zoiche to the thing, to the Shechina. Now we understand what's Eile Pekudei. These are the instructions. What do you mean? These are the instructions. A person who wants to be Zeiche to the Shechina, he has to protect her. He has to create walls around it. The only Mishkan here, the image of a Mishkan, is to create a private place for the Shechina to reside. Eile Pekudei equals 236. 4 times Choima, walls. You have to wall. You have to wall yourself in. Remember, the Shechina will be inside you. If you are in TikTok and TikTok and Talk, you know, and all this, forget about the Shechina being in. However, if you wall yourself in and you protect yourself, you're disappearing from this world. In Olam HaYetzira, when the Mishkan Elyon with the Malach Matat that we spoke many times about, I cannot explain the whole thing right now, but the Mishkan HaElyon is in the Olam Haba HaTachtoin, in the lower Olam Haba, exactly inside Olam HaYetzira, not in Olam Haberia. There's something else in Atzilus, but not the oil. The Mishkan, the upper Mishkan is there. It's called Ha-Mishkan, the Mishkan. But the Mishkan, Vayakem Moshe, as Mishkan says the Zohar, only when Moshe put up the Mishkan down here was able in Shamayim to also put up the Mishkan. Beforehand, the Mishkan was not standing in Shamayim from creation till the time Moshe put up the Mishkan. It was not. Why? Because the Malchus has to come back to earth in order for it even to reside up there in the Mishkan area. The proof, Vayakem es HaMishkan equals 501 HaMalchus. Everything a person does should be done with Kavanah for the Shechina Agdosha. Everyone wants to bypass, says, no to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No, Ze Hashal Hashem. The Malchus, the Shechina, through the Shechina you will be able to access HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Otherwise, you cannot access HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Oh, you're a big deal, you're a big thing, you're big London, you're big. I don't care who you are. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created his world with a set of rules. And if you don't follow these rules, it's Tzadikim Yovoy Uboy. Oh, again, out Tzadikim, and I'm closing the circle on it. Those Tzadikim know that only through the Malchus you can reach HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can elevate yourself to the Yesod and disappear from this world. You can be in the Mishkan HaElyon. But before the Mishkan HaElyon, you have to build the Mishkan HaTachton. Like Moshe Rabbeinu showed us that only by building a Mishkan down here in your heart will you be able to elevate yourself and reach and be in a place of menucha, of calm, of oineg for the 7 days of the week, because the Kedusha of Shabbos will be mispashet in all the days of the week, and you will live in the Bechina of Shabbos like the menorah lighting with the Oir HaKodesh, the Oir Ensof, and this is going to bring the Mashiach and the Geula Shlema b'mhera b'yameinu. Amen.